to really know what happened and what is going on and how you can go about it and what you perceive. You want to have the facts. Otherwise, you delude yourself all the time. So, is that what you heard? Is that what you have seen? And, or you have to go by touch. Is touch or feelings reliable? Which of your senses is most reliable? You will consider that sense most reliable that you function best with or through. But that may not be exactly the same as what the actual happening is. So in other words, we again try to avoid the facts. What is going on in the mind? We had a couple of times lately talks about the mind, and we had one workshop of the maps of the mind. This belongs all into the same area. You have to know your mind. Why are you doing it? What's the purpose? What do you want to achieve with it? And when you got it, where do you go from here? What are you going to do with it? You don't want to know what's going on. You come and you say, well, I want to find myself, and I want to know myself. But what do you do with that? You're not any different than... Unless you go and find out what and how you function, and what things are going on in your life, how you perceive, what you do with the perception, and how you maybe subjugate some impressions that another part of your mind is totally unwilling to accept. Things were sometimes going quite badly in the ashram. In regard to economic situation, I had a lot of young men in the ashram. They were hungry like wolves. And then one night, I had a very interesting dream. I'm sitting with a whole bunch of people, and I don't know what we were really doing there. But suddenly there was a little boy, maybe so 5 years old, running around. There were some flowers, a couple of balls, and one was fruit, and what was in the other one I couldn't see. And he would lift himself on his toes, dip his hand into this, then came all the way, run around, and just pushed his little fist into my mouth. And after he'd done it a few times, and I said, who are you? And I tried to hold him tight. And I said, oh, you are the blue one. You're Krishna. And now I had to think and meditate and contemplate a long time, again and again. What was the complete message? There may be certain food may not be there, but Krishna's chocolate will always be available. Sometime the chocolate will manifest in a different way, and it will be there. And it was. At one time, I didn't know what I could cook. I had only a few pounds of potatoes and a couple of tomatoes, and I was no great cook to begin with. And so I said, gee, I have just about an hour before the guys come home and they will be hungry. Somebody entered the front door, pushed it open with a boot or whatever, it sounded like this, came into the kitchen having a big box and in the other arm a big paper bag, put it on the table, and he said, I hope that will last for a little while. And then I was going to ask him who he was and would he like to stay for dinner. He was out and he said, I'll see you again. I've never seen him again. Krishna's chocolate arrived in time. The thing is not to consider yourself being the doer. I do this and this and this, and after I've done this, then I will do this and this. All nonsense. Gurudev Shivananda said to me, I think you better go back to America. For him, Canada and America was the same. Both speak English, and their currency was dollars. He said, I see a lot of dark clouds. There will be bad times. You better go back. I want you to set up many, many, many ashrams. So this is a tall order how I'm going to do this. So I come back home, sit in my Montreal apartment, and I thought, I didn't really had a mother that I can call mother. There was a woman who gave birth, but she wasn't interested in children. So I don't really know how mothers function. How can I be anybody's spiritual mother? And there came this experience of Divine Mother. First of all, there was this touch on my face. You didn't need a mother, because I was here, guiding you and guiding you every step, ever since you were born. So, was this my imagination? Can I really trust this? Has my mind, in its urgency and need, maybe for affection, produced that? Possible, however. That was not the way she was letting me to believe that experience. We want to get a balance between our senses. And at one point, I felt I had pretty much achieved this, and then I had all of a sudden a dream that said, no, you have to learn to listen with the inner ear. They must long to go into this, but listening with the inner ear, that was something else. So in other words, there is an ordinary sense of hearing, to hear what people say, and there is the other sense of hearing, is hearing in the sound of the voice. If I listen to that something else, then things come through that will just hit the nail on the head, and sometimes not even in a friendly manner. It was important that I could hear that divine voice, that I could perceive of this divine inspiration. It didn't matter anymore. You liked me or didn't like me. The last of our senses would be sight now. Many people function through their sense of sight. They see something, but they really see. And there is one of the yogic exercises, sight. What do you see? In the process of seeing what is seen. Because again, certain parts of our minds get involved and make again something out that isn't there. I think everybody knows the old story of the snake, which then turns out, if you get a little closer, it's only a rope rolled up. So, but there are many things where we think it's such and such, and then when we look, it is not. The mind is contributing with the help of the emotions and illusions, fantasies, hallucinations are all part of the mind. We fantasize so much what our life is going to be or should be. We have to look ourselves clearly. What are we doing with any perception that we have of the divine? And I think if you keep doing the light invocation, and if you keep saluting each other, the divine in me salutes the divine in you, you can get a much clearer picture. So again, it is focus. It's not sleeping on a bed of nails. It's not fasting 3 days every 2 weeks. It's not traveling around the world and seeing all the sacred places. It is what you do, how you focus, and on what you focus in your life. What do you want to focus on? That's absolutely your choice. The power of choice is still yours in many, many areas, and you can't blame anybody for the choices that you have made. So think about what a good instrument your five senses are, what they can be. Om Namah Shivaya.